Hi everyone, I am Manish Gurnani, CTO here at KSolves, and I want to thank you for joining this on-demand webinar. If you have ever worked with Apache NiFi, you already know how powerful it is for building scalable data flows. But let's be honest, deploying those NiFi flows across environments hasn't always been simple. It involves too many steps, too much configuration, and frankly, too much time. That's why we built Data Flow Manager to make NiFi data flow deployments fast, consistent, and repeatable. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can go from a fully configured data flow to deployment in just a few clicks. No more manual setups, no more tedious migration headaches. Just a smarter way to manage your NiFi flows. Let's dive into the demo. Once you have logged into DFM, the homepage of DFM or the dashboard, this is how it looks like. Now, DFM comes with, so you have to first set up DFM or you have to onboard your clusters within DFM. You do that using clusters tab. Over here, you have to specify your certain cluster details like cluster URL, your registry URL, your access credentials, these standard things. And once those are provided, you will have your cluster listed within the clusters menu. You have complete control of who can do what on this cluster. So you need to create roles and align those roles to permissions. You have roles and permissions tab. DFM comes with predefined access permissions. You can create your own roles, match these permissions to these roles, and then you can assign these roles to users. Then those users will only be able to see what they can based on those access permissions that they have. With DFM, you also control which clusters can those users see. So maybe you have 10 clusters, but your development team may only be able to see only your low level environments. So they can only have access to those clusters. Your NiFi ops team may need to work only on production and pre-prod clusters. So they will access only those clusters. They will not be able to perform any other operations on any other cluster. So DFM has all of this inbuilt, and this can be done very intuitively within DFM. So once you have onboarded your clusters, you have configured your roles, your permissions, the NiFi admins or the operations users can start leveraging DFM for many different things. One of the most important things is about NiFi data flow deployments. So let's see how DFM helps you do a data flow deployment in a least intrusive way. So let's say I'm logged into my UAT NiFi cluster. I have to deploy a new flow which has been committed by my development team and has been, let's say, tested by my QA team. I go to deploy because this cluster is already onboarded. It fetches the registry details, and from there it selects all, it fetches all the buckets that are there. I select, let's say, this data ingestion bucket. Then I can select the flow which I want to deploy. Let's say I want to do a file transfer deployment. I then have the option to select the version which I want to deploy. There are two versions. This is NiFi Data Flow. So let's say I select the latest version which I want to deploy. Let's say number 2. I click on continue. Now, this is again a very unique feature of DFM. I see a mini map of NiFi canvas. What I would have been otherwise, when I log into my NiFi, NiFi UI, I will see the same canvas. This is the mini version of that. So over here, the orange reflects the process which I'm going to deploy. Green reflects the processes which are already deployed in my cluster. So here I have only one process which is deployed and I'm deploying a new process. So I have the option I can drag and drop this process which I'm going to deploy anywhere on this mini canvas. This will show on the main NiFi canvas also in this location. This is very useful and very helpful when, let's say, you have hundreds of NiFi processors deployed on your canvas. And then if you want to see where was this process deployed, so you can select that position over here, and on NiFi canvas also, you will see it at the same position. So let's say I want to do it, let's say to the left of the existing process group. Okay. I can verify my NiFi and my registry URL. I click on continue. Because it's a NiFi flow, so I can set, let's say, my parameter context, maybe my variables or any control service, which is required by that NiFi flow. Once I have set that, I click on continue. It shows me a summary of what is about to happen. It's because I set it version 2, so I can verify it's showing version 2. Then, very importantly, what action do I need to do after deployment? So the post deployment steps. When this flow is deployed, post that, do I want to start this flow? Do I want to stop this flow? Let's say I want to start this flow after deployment is done. So I select start flow, I confirm it. And now once I click on deploy, DFM does its magic. It is fetching the process from registry. It is validating the configuration. It is updating configuration as per my anything that I may have set in my context, my control service, anything, right? And then it is deploying that process on NiFi cluster, that same version which I said, which I selected, and it will deploy it on NiFi canvas at the same location which I selected in the mini map. Once this is all done, it will take the post deployment steps, and because I had selected to launch these processes, so it has launched this also. Now let's go and verify that this actually happened. So I'll log into my NiFi instance. So here is my NiFi UI, right? I've already logged into this. And over here, let's see. So this was the original process, like I said, which was only there. And then I deployed the file transfer process to left of it. So you can see on NiFi canvas, it is showing on the left. And because I selected it to be started after deployment, so it is running also. Let's verify the version. I had selected version 2. And version 2 is the one which is deployed over here also. So you see, I was able to use DFM to do a NiFi flow deployment without any glitches, without having any technical knowledge of NiFi. I only need to understand how DFM works, and I can manage my NiFi deployments from DFM. All right. Okay. Now let's say for some reason my deployment ran into some issue and I had to roll it back. So what do I do in that case? All I need to do is, again, I need to go to DFM. I select the process which I want to upgrade or downgrade. All I need to do is, again, everything same. I just go back and select the previous system which I want to deploy. So I select this, click on continue. Again, any NiFi flow related configuration that I need to do in terms of maybe parameter context, variables, or control service, I configure that over here. I click on continue. Again, DFM shows me what to do post deployment step. Let's say I want to keep it running. So, and DFM is intelligent, right? It understands that from version 2, I'm downgrading to version 1. So it shows me downgrade. I click on to downgrade. And DFM again fetches the process definition from registry, exports it, validates it, configures it, and then does the deployment in cluster. And it is now done. Let's go and verify it. Over here, let me just refresh it. So let's see the version. Now I can see that it has been downgraded to version 1. So roll back with few clicks, without any hitches, without any challenges. That is the power of DFM. All right. Now, another very useful feature of DFM, scheduled deployments. Let's say I wanted to run this deployment maybe at a time when my ops people might not be available. So I can pre-plan for that deployment. I click on schedule deployment. I select again the process which I want to do the deployment. Let's say I select again, maybe let's say I want to deploy again file transfer only. I'm deliberately choosing a process which has already been deployed. Okay, I select the latest version. DFM is intelligent. It tells me that this process is already deployed. Do you still want to do this? Let's say I want to do this. So I click on continue. Again, now there are already two processes already deployed in NiFi. So we can see two green bars and this orange which I'm going to deploy. Let's say I deploy it on top of these two. Okay. So I'm deploying a new version of file transfer, version 2, but I'll be running it at a pre-defined future time. Let's say I click on continue. Okay. So because it's scheduled deployment, I'll now select the time and date when I want to do deployment. Let's say I want to do it on a weekend. I want to do it at, let's say, midnight. So midnight of a Saturday, I want to run my NiFi deployment. Imagine without DFM, you will need to have a NiFi operation person sitting and monitoring this deployment and actually doing this data flow deployment. With DFM, this can be pre-planned and executed without that person being available at that time. All right, maybe I want to keep this flow stopped after the deployment. Let's say I select stop. I can again validate any information that needs to set with that flow, context, variables, or controller service. I click on continue. DFM again shows me a summary screen. It shows me the time and it will be deployed and what will be the post deployment actions. And I click on to schedule. Once I do this, DFM has taken the necessary action. It has put this process into a deployment schedule. Over here, I can see what deployments are already scheduled. And because it's a newly scheduled deployment, DFM has a approval workflow associated with it. It shows me at this time that this deployment is pending for approval. At the same time, DFM would have also sent an email to the approver. So the approval would have received an email stating him which flow needs to be, which flow is being scheduled, when it is being scheduled, and he can approve or reject that from that email. He can do the same action from within DFM over here. And over here, let's say I want to approve this deployment. So I click on to approve. It shows me to confirm. And once I have confirmed it, this deployment is approved. I can still, in case need be, cancel this deployment altogether. All right. Now, again, imagine, like I said, right, this deployment occurring at midnight of a Saturday. You do not need to have your NiFi admin waiting and executing this deployment, spending his midnight, for doing this. He has pre-planned it, he has scheduled it, and it is all set to execute on its own. All right. So now all that I did within DFM, right? This all is audit logged. And where we can see that audit log within the activity history tab. Over here, we can see the recent action that I did was approving that deployment. So, this was the event. What was the entity? What was the process group or the NiFi data flow which was being targeted, right? On which cluster, which version, whether it was success, failure, who did, what time, everything is captured within DFM. I had earlier downgraded a process, that is also captured. I had earlier deployed a process, that is also captured. I had logged into this cluster, so that is also captured. So everything is captured within DFM. You can filter those events based on entity, event, or their status. You can see this activity history shows activity across your whole cluster. But let's say if I want to limit it to only one, maybe I want to look at only one process group history. So what do? I go to process groups. Over there also have the same option. So I click onto this process group details. It shows me the summary of that process, but at the end, it has this audit log tab. Over here, I can see what all actions have been taken on this process group, by whom, at what time. All those details are available at a process group level also. All right. Then other very useful features of DFM, a flow registry. Flow registry essentially is it's like it shows what all flows are available within your NiFi registry and which version, when were they created. All of that detail is available within the flow registry. You can tag these flows, you can search through these flows, everything can be done through to look at what flows are available in your registry. Then data flow inventory. So DFM also comes with some predefined NiFi flows. So you do not have to start development from scratch. You use these predefined flows and import them in your registry, so they are available to your developers for development and any modification that they need to do. DFM also, like I said, has an AI flow generator. Using this, you can use the power of AI to generate a NiFi flow by typing in natural language. So maybe I may just type in, like, I want to generate a flow for this, which will do this, like I am typing in my, just like I'm speaking. So I'll type in that requirement and DFM will generate me an NiFi flow based on that requirement. And that's it. You just saw how easy it is to deploy NiFi data flows with Data Flow Manager. From setup to deployment in a matter of clicks, clean, fast, and reliable. If this looks like something that could help your team, we'd love to show you more. You can sign up for a personalized one-on-one demo, and someone from our team will reach out to walk you through everything in detail. Thanks again for joining, and we hope to connect with you soon.